Greetings, everyone. Welcome, mystical, magical beings. I am so excited. I'm so excited to have this goddess here with us today. I mean, just look at her before she even opens her mouth. I mean, just look at her. Take it in. Take it in. Take it. I feel like this is our favorite fairy, besides myself. It's our favorite fairy. Like I was just saying, a ball of this majestic sunshine, rainbows, unicorns, like all the luminous colors and fairy dust. If you just put it in a big pot, like it's her, like she's gonna come popping out. So tell the people your title or what you like to be called.
Alafia
I
says
love
greetings
you.
of peace and bliss, everyone. My name is Adesina. That is my Yoruba name that was given to me in my Ifo Orisha tradition. So I like to be called Adesina. Um, I am so, so, so very grateful to just be in this space with you, our official fairy godmother. I am just so grateful for this connection, for Spirit bringing us together in this wonderful, wonderful way. So thank you,
Thank
and
you so much.
I appreciate
I
you.
have not been this excited about meeting. Actually, nope. I have not been this excited about meeting another fairy since Mama T, I call her T Boogie. She does our Q&A. And when I first met her, I was like, like, and so the same with you. Like, I'm like, fairy. And like, I mean, a real very like you know what I mean? Like we don't just dress up and like we really this is a swag.
Yes.
Okay. So let's get into the juiciness because tell me about your culture. So you were saying Ifa, right?
Yes.
What's the
So that
complete title?
Ifa Orisha is the
Ifa
practice
Orisha.
Isheche.
So is this a
Yeah.
religion or tell me about it?
So the way I'm taught by my beloved godmother, Dr. Iya Funlayo, priestess, is Ifa is a system of religious belief, but it is a whole, complete spiritual system. So Ifa guides the life of the devotee from every instance from family life, like you know how some religions separate, you have your secular life and you have
Mhm.
your religious life. Ifa is a complete system, so it relates to your social life, your family life, everything all combined. We in Ifa Orisha practice believe in the supreme being, source. Some people would say God. We say Alodamare, the divine masculine and feminine, who is the creator of all, owner of yesterday, today, and all days to come, the divine source. So we believe, but we also believe in remaining connection to our ancestors. So we have ancestor veneration and honoring of the ancestors and continuing of ancestral practice and presence
Mhm.
in our daily lives. And we believe, in the higher self, the Ori, which is your own spiritual double that actually helps you to conduct your purpose in life, to guide you through
Mm.
life, to let you know when you're on course, when you're not on course. And that is like your personal Orisha. And we also believe in the divine primordial spirits of nature, the
Mm.
Orisha that we honor, and we serve, and we um, hold as sacred, and they're involved in our daily life. They're the elemental spirits of water with Oshun, and Reo with thunder and lightning with Shango, Kawakabi,
Mm.
Esi, with Obatala, and just we have a um just so many divinities. Like there are literally 400 plus one, so many orishas, but here in the diaspora we have seven primary that that we honor on our Ifa Orisha days. So we have worship days for our Orisha where we are giving them offerings. So when we are making our prayers and doing all the ritualistic spiritual things that we do to stay connected with spirit and guide us in our spiritual life. And like I said, I could go through all of them, but there are seven primary that are just so involved in our day-to-day practice. And I give thanks. I'm so grateful for so each devotee has what we call a head orisha. So that orisha, when the soul before it comes to the earth goes to Ojalamopian's house. So that's a space in Arun, or which you would say heaven, to select your head. That Orisha agrees to support you, to go with you, to guide your purpose, understand your purpose, and guide you in this life. And
We
you
call that the
know,
death fairy.
oh, the death fairy. Okay, I have not heard that. Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah. So my everybody has a head orisha. I have a head orisha, and we are connected to that divinity to really help us, support us in this life. But of course we give honor and reverence to all of our divinities, all of our orisha. And I'm not by any way an expert or anything. I am just a devotee who enjoys just loving and giving honor to our divinities, as African descendants, been disconnected from our spiritual religious systems through the Maafa, through enslavement. And I'm just so grateful, grateful, grateful that I've had the opportunity to reconnect with my roots,
Mm.
to reconnect with my roots, because it has been so transformational. It's a journey that started so many years ago. I was 27 when I first started this journey of rediscovering, wanting to know, who am I? Where do I
Hmm.
come from? What are my spiritual roots? So I was so grateful to meet my beloved godmother, Dr. Iya Funlayo, and Ashe Ray. Like from the moment that I heard her speak, I was actually listening to a podcast at the time. And from the moment I heard her speak about Ifa Orisha, about Isheshe, and being reconnected with our own spiritual systems that have been violently taken away from us in our enslavement, and brought to the various countries in the diaspora. I knew, I knew that this system was for me, because it consisted of everything I need. When I heard of Olodumare, I've always believed in a divine source. And when I heard of Olodumare, the divine masculine and feminine,
Mm.
um, the creator and originator of all things, discovered and yet to be discovered, I'm like, yes, this is it. Honoring my ancestors, because I had practiced. I was a Christian practitioner as in a part of my life. I was also a Muslim um, practitioner in for a large part of my youth, and and I always felt like I'm always giving honor, to ancestors that are not of my lineage or not of my cultural background as far as
Mm.
being African American. So when I learned that I can honor that my ancestors remain with me as eternal presence, and I, could honor them, and I could gift them, and I could, still have this eternal connection with them. I was
Mm.
like, this is it. This is the missing piece. This is a part, the void that I was feeling in other traditions, that now all the pieces are connected. When I learned about egg bag, your spiritual mates and companions that assist, orchestrate for you in this life, I'm like, yes, this is it. When she told me, your ori, your own divine divinity within, is who you follow and listen to first and foremost, above any person, my beloved godmother would say, including me. So when I
Exactly.
learned that I can be guided by my own divine self, I was like, this is for me. And it's been 4 years, and it's been beautiful. And I love the daily practice. And then you know what else I love? Like, your girl is a party girl. I love that I don't have to turn it off and on. If
Mm-hmm.
I go to the club, my divinities are with me. I'm not like, okay, this is spiritual religious over here, and this is, no. Everywhere I go, everywhere I be, if I'm at work, wherever I am, my divinities, are with me. My Ori is with me. I'm honoring my Orisha. I know a little Damare is this journey, this path is already been, approved and sanctioned by a little Damare. So I like that I don't have to separate parts of me my whole life.
Authentic expression. Yes.
Yes, my whole life I feel like I've had to leave pieces of me at the door, whether it was me, being African American and having to try to fit in somebody else's culture, or if it was me having to be, religious, spiritual over here and secular over here. I've always felt divided, but now I can feel so whole, so
Oh,
complete. Yes, and you know what? My Baba, yeah, Orisha is Oshosi, Oshosi, Ode Mata, Shide, Shide. And that is a warrior divinity of the forest.
mm,
And that connects to my spiritual life as a fairy,
mm,
So I've always felt very connected with nature and spirit, and so when I learned that Oshosi, the warrior hunter Orisha of the forest, was my Baba Iya, and of course it's been over time, I'm like, oh, okay, now this makes sense. Why I've always felt connection to the forest and wanting to be in nature, wanting to be around insects and, you know, all the things in nature, the trees, and being connected to the herbs and love of herbalism and all the things, right? It just kind of came together for me. And
they
I was like,
came
oh,
together.
yes, yes, yes. So when I say fairy, it ain't costume. It's real, real. It's
It's real,
real, real.
real.
Yes, it's
Hmm.
about connection. It's about love of nature, love of self, love of community, everyone I meet, and wanting to radiate that love, radiate that sweetness, to be light in life, not being weighed down with, the troubles of the world. Of course, we go through things, right? This is a part of the human experience, but not being weighted down by it,
Hmm.
still
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
able to be light and flow with life and love and appreciate this human experience while still very much connected to soul self, connected to the spirits of nature, the Orisha, you like, look, you
I
gotta
love
stop
this.
because
I
I
love this
love
so
talking
much.
about spirit.
I can tell. So you get the Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, right?
Yes. Ashe, ashe, ashe,
Right?
ashe.
I love this just because I feel that this is the perfect example of how we can translate things differently, right? But what needs, because this is what I speak of, is translation. And we try to keep, not try, we keep things on a very simplistic level so that it can be understood. And to me, this is the perfect example of how things can be translated totally differently, but it's the same energy. You know what I mean? Like we can give different
Yeah.
titles, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still the same, these same expressions of energy, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I appreciate um, that explanation deeply. I appreciate the fact that some can consider this a religious system, but in the fact that it is totally different in a way that you're not to worship something outside of you more than self. You know what I mean? Like that's where I get, shit goes in one ear and out the other when I hear to have this praise, honor, reverence of anything outside of yourself before yourself. You know what I mean? That there's some pie in the sky that's higher than you that, it's like, how? What? That doesn't, So I love how full you are in. Okay, so I'm gonna set that down right there. So I channel aspects of, we call them the fundamentals of creation, right? And so it's the same
Mm-hmm.
difference as if you like take a phone and your phone comes with apps. So we feel that this
Mm-hmm.
body, this vessel comes with certain aspects of your universe that we all have, the default, like we all have them. And so we have basic names like water, the space in
Mm-hmm.
which we create that is everywhere, all, nowhere, all that, right? We consider darkness to be the source, the divine source of all. It's where everything comes from, even light comes from darkness. Um, I channel chaos, which we are all chaos beings, or we wouldn't be able to survive. Like your heart beats, you can breathe, all things happening simultaneously, right? Chaos. That's our
Mm-hmm.
definition of chaos. We have magic, Lucifer, all these different aspects. And so we get into not only the character or the energy, but also the functionality of it inside of your universe. Like vampiric is such, or the vampire is such a bad word. But if you just think of it from the mechanism, like what it does, it's your body's ability to absorb, to give and receive energy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's been such a programming around um it like this is what excited me when I was young. All the things that they told me not to go to, I went to. And then as I started doing my own research and study and following my own intuition, it was like, yo, this is where the juice is. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
for example, like um I just go where I'm led. So they got me on the YouTube. I'm scrolling, and then all of a sudden I see something about a witch or some blah blah blah. So I'm listening to her talk, and so she's talking about Oshun, Orisha, all the things. And she's supposedly this very famous witch, works with the stars. And then so like many stars start coming out of the person who's asking a question, like Beyonce and her sister is a very, Solange is a very, very open and transparent devotee,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so just to like hear all of the witchcraft, just to make something that you never looked into so low vibrational because of your ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that began my journey with I'm gonna meet somebody one day that can sit down and explain this to me because it's everywhere. It's almost like, well, in my life, I don't know about everybody, but it's everywhere. Like I'm scrolling down Facebook, even people that have friend requested me. Like I always see the IFA. At first, I was like, "What is that?" Attached to everybody's like title. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so then Oshun starts. I got some goddesses around me that are very intertwined with a lot of the African cultures. And so, the Oshuns and the Orishas and, all these different, I say goddesses, God is, um, all these did different titles, and I'm like, oh shit, and then so I started communing with myself, like, what does all this mean? Like, how do you keep up with all of this? Like, what is it? And then so my spirit started breaking down the different titles, and so anyway, it just went into a whole nother spill. So deities, this is a big thing. So would Orisha be considered a deity? How
Yeah,
would you define
we
deity?
say yeah, we say archetypal spirits of nature. That's like a term you'll hear referred to a lot with Orisha, but deity
We like
for
archetypes.
me on a personal level,
Yeah.
that can be any spirit, right?
Okay.
It's not limited to the Orisha.
Okay.
But a common term that we use, and I hear my godmother, Dr.Iya Funlayo, use a lot is, archetypal spirits of nature. So
Hmm.
I think that is the difference, because when I hear of a lot of other deities and other traditions, I don't really hear them referred to with nature. Like
Okay.
all of the Orisha have a correlation or association, if you will, with nature. So Shun or Re'eo is the river. Obatala Efarisho is the mountains in the hillsides. Oya, Yansa Efaye, she is the Orisha goddess of tornadoes and storms, hurricanes, change and transformation. So each of the Orisha have a natural correspondence. Um, Ogunyemoye, also of the forest, he is correlated with ironsmithing, ironwork, communication. So all of the divinities, if you will, have a correlation also with nature. I know a lot of people have most likely heard of Yemoja or Yemaya. You may also
Hmm.
hear Omio of the originally of the river, but now is more broadly associated with the ocean
Hmm.
and the sea. So all of our divinities are associated. And Eshu, we can't do nothing without giving honor to Eshu Odara. He is the Orisha of the crossroads. We can't do anything in our tradition without first giving honor to reverence to Eshu, doing all of the ritualistic appeasements for Eshu. He sits at the crossroads and is responsible for communication
Yeah.
between the physical and the spiritual realm. And all of the things, every crossroad, every change that we go through in our life, every crossroad that we come to, eschew there, the Risha of endless possibilities. So each and every of our honored Orisha have their correlation and association with natural force. So we have water. We talked about water. We have fire, air.
Mhm.
Or yeah, is the air, literally the air in which we breathe in when we inhale and exhale. Ogum with the heartbeat, as my beloved godmother teaches us. And I'm still learning. I'm just a devotee. I'm not a priestess or an initiate of Ifa, which is different from a devotee. I have a hand of Ifa, so I am on my path, learning, 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 learning. But definitely, I would invite anyone to follow my beloved godmother, Dr. Iya Funlayo at Ashe Ray, if they want to get deeper and know more and to really be taught this tradition that is so beautiful, and so affirming.
Yes.
Yes, very affirming and very natural. So,
Yes.
yeah, so all
Okay,
of the
thank
elements.
goodness. Okay,
Hmm.
I really love this. Um, that's why I really wanted to know more. I'm no longer in a space where I have a preconceived, you know what I mean? It's like, let me get someone personally, that's in the know and that's a practitioner, right? And have a
Devotee. Mhm.
conversation. Like, so I appreciate that because that cleared up so much for me. Um, so now, fairy.
Yes.
So just in a little bit that we conversed, you you said a lot. Even though I know me, I talk a lot. I did a lot of talking. But one of the things that came out was death doula.
Hmm.
So tell me, what is a death doula? And then how do you attach to that?
Yeah, so in my profession, I'm a registered nurse by trade, and I have had the honor to be with a lot of my patients in their final days, their final moments, in helping to ease the transition, alleviate pain with medicine, to do a lot of the medical things.
Mm-hmm.
But being a spiritual practitioner, I'm always focused on the well being of the spirit and of the soul. And so I was finding in my practice, as a nurse, as you could imagine, it's busy. It's go, go, meds, treatments, this, call the doctor. There's a lot of busy work. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have as much time at the
Yeah.
bedside with my patient, with my resident, as I wanted to. And so I started discovering ways that I could be more
Present.
present
Mm-hmm.
in that very sacred time when a person is literally being birthed back into the spiritual world, is how I look at it.
Yes.
So I started to do some research, and I found a program for a death doula, and the difference between a nurse and a death doula. So essentially, I'm doing the same work, but for me, being a death doula, the spiritual aspect, there's more focus on the spirit, on the soul of the person. There's more focus on the individual. So I'm not doing the medical
Mm-hmm.
work. I'm not doing all of the medical care that I would normally do. So not passing meds, not focusing on the physical. I'm really focused on the spirit and the soul.
Mm.
What can I do to support, to hold sacred space for the individual, to hold them in my care, my thoughts, to make sure that their wishes are carried out. What are your wishes? A lot of times in healthcare, it's all about the medical. We don't have time and take time to really find out what does the spirit need to be at peace. What are your wishes? How do you want the environment? How do you want the
Yes.
temperature? What do you want? A lot of times people are processing their lives during this final sacred transition and rites of passage in life, and we barely have time to stop and ask
Mhm.
them about their life reflection. So as a death doula, I'm able to take that time, that one-on-one time with my client, to let them be heard, to just be able to say in a safe space what they are feeling, what their thoughts are, help them um, draft their own legacy projects, what meaning they've had in their life, the connections, the families. I've held vigils for my clients at bedside, so they're not alone. And
Right.
also the family and also the client has meaningful practices that they did. I had the honor and the privilege to take care of a client, and we were singing Prince songs at the
Yes,
bedside
stop
because
it.
yes, that's as the vigil singing in the hospital, in the ICU, mind you. Prince
Shout out to
songs.
Mama T.
Yeah,
Okay.
Prince songs at the bedside, because this is what peace and light and elevation on her spirit. This is what the client loves.
Yes.
So this is what we're doing.
That's what y'all gonna do. Period.
Yes,
Yes.
we are honoring this spirit, this soul, that's graced us in this life with the things that were blissful for them in their life, and
Yes.
letting them know that that continues. Being support to the family to help them. Maybe if the client wants to do some advanced directives, to say, I want this. I want to withdraw this treatment. I want to continue this treatment. So doing all the paperwork, there's a lot of paperwork that's involved in the dying process. So advanced directives, helping them to draft their advanced directives, reminding them to give a copy to the physician, to the hospital where they are, having the family store one in a safe place. So these are all of the things that in our day to day we don't think about. We're all in the process of death and dying, from the
Yes.
first breath to the last. It's a complete journey and pathway to reunification as spirit being, as the person that continues after this, physical form. So that was my reason why.
No, but
Love
how
for my client.
amazing to
Mhm.
have you there,
Thank
dealing
you.
with the business and the spiritual. You know what I mean? And like, I've had a family member where in their last moments of consciousness here, like that was the business of life was going
Mhm.
on in there. You know what I mean? So to be able to have someone scratch off the checklist for those that are in that thought space, the business, the checklist of it all, and then the spiritual of it all, your feelings, your simple comforts,
Yeah.
at that time, those simple, small details are everything. And I've
Yeah.
had this conversation where sometimes the family is in so much grief and sadness because they don't understand what transitioning really is, you
Mhm.
know, and they're not in a celebratory space. And so they're not even thinking clearly. You know what I mean? They're not even thinking, all the thoughts are about them and their grief and not about the individual that's actually transitioning. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They're not a clear channel, so they're not even intuiting. They're not, you know, none of that. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
so
Mhm.
that's everything.
And it's ancestral. I have a certificate as a death doula, but our families have been doing this for centuries.
Mhm.
We're reclaiming the practice. This is not a new
No, yeah.
practice. We put a new title on
Title.
it
Yeah.
and dressed it up. But
Yeah.
it's what we've been doing for
Yeah.
centuries, millennial,
Yes,
millennial,
our
and we're
natural
just
expression.
reclaiming it. Yes, reclaiming this practice of the positive death experience, of honoring, the life, of continuing all the practices that were important to the client, to the person, to the spirit in life, and just carrying it with them over,
Mhm.
into the spiritual realm. And it doesn't matter what their tradition is. If
Yes.
they are Muslim, then we'll have Muslim practices. Maybe they want to read Quran and listen to some nasheed. If they're a Christian, maybe they want their gospel music, and their pastor to come. And so it's not by any means based on my beliefs. It's not
Right.
based on my spiritual practices or my rituals or anything. It's all about
Them.
clients
Yeah.
and their family. And sometimes, you know, it's death transitions are very emotional,
Yes.
sad. There's a lot of energy around that, right? So
Yes.
just sometimes having someone who can help maintain the peace,
Yes.
that can redirect when things are, going a little left, and can
Yeah.
redirect the attention back to the client's wishes, and being an advocate for the
Yes.
client,
Yeah.
that is so
Vital.
beneficial. Yes, vital. Thank you, vital. Yes.
Because it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
I've seen it all. You know, I'm from Chicago. You from St. Louis. So you know we know.
Yes, yes. It ain't always cutesy cute.
No.
So,
No.
yeah.
Sometimes it's
Hmm.
physical confrontations up in that thing,
Yeah,
you
I've
know?
seen it. I've seen that, and it's unfortunate, but that's why we're here, as a death doula, and I'm very much using my intuition as a psychic medium to connect in with the spirit and the
Yes.
ancestral spirits around the client, to know, to intuit and to know what's needed in the moment. So,
Okay, honey. So you just dropped another. I think I'm in love. You know, like,
aww.
I knew I loved you, but I think I'm in love. Like,
Mutual,
okay, now
mutual.
psychic medium. Ah, let's get into it. So, like, how did you know that this was a thing, you know, for you, that this was a gift in you? Like, oh,
Yeah, so like I said, I've been when other kids was outside playing as a child, I was in meditation with the Bible.
mhm,
I was youth minister and evangelist, in the Christian faith. So I have always been deeply immersed in spirituality.
mm-hmm,
During the summers, I would get my Bible and read, and I would
mm-hmm,
just meditate, and I would actually hear messages come in. And these messages that I would hear, I learned later. I didn't know what clairaudient was. I didn't
mm,
know what clairsentience, clairvoyance was, but I would receive these downloads, these messages from spirit, and I would talk to people, and they were like, "Oh, I was just thinking that," or I had a dream about that, or they would affirm the
Yes.
things I was saying. Like,
Yes.
how did you know that? Like, who told you that? Where did you get that from? And I'm like, I was just, quiet. I didn't know anything about meditating per se, but I was just quiet and praying, and this is what I got. This is what the thoughts, I consider them as being thoughts. Later down the line, I learned that I'm actually connecting in with spirit, and they're talking. They are talking to me. I learned that much later, but as a child, I would receive messages all the time. I would just know things, and I would tell
Yeah.
my grandmother, Ibaye to Arun, who is transitioned already, but I would tell her, Grand, so, such and so, and she just look at me, and she told me that my great grandmother, deeply spiritual. I would, in today's terms, I would consider her a witch. She was a
Yes.
spiritual herbalist. She
Mm,
talked to animals.
mm.
Um, she could tell you things before they happen. So I know, like, that's where my ancestral gifts come from. But I would tell my grandmother things, and she would look at me like, how do you know that? And then she would tell me, because that's what she related it to, my great grandmother, Minnie Madden Ibaye to Arun. And she would say, don't go messing with that hoodoo, is what she would call it. Don't go messing with
Now,
that
why
hoodoo.
is that all the
I didn't even know
elders
what hoodoo.
look? They always say that hoodoo voodoo stuff.
Yes, I didn't even know. I'm like, what? I had no idea what she was talking about, right? Because I'm deeply practicing the Christian faith at this time.
Yes.
Never heard the word hoodoo. I found out later, that it's our ancestral tradition that actually combined our African spiritual practices with Christianity,
Right.
because we take the best of everything, and we don't separate it the way
They do.
Christians do. This is Christianity, this
Yeah,
is the
like I said, like they do.
yes, we bring all the goodies.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as my
Yes.
beloved godmother says. So this is hoodoo, and I did
Yes.
not know that that was
She was
what it was.
complimenting you at the time.
But I would hear things. I'm clairaudient. I would feel and know things,
Mm,
clairsentient, clairvoyant. And now, as I've gotten, to this stage in my life, when I learned what it was, I was like, oh, okay. And then I started to embrace it. I started to embrace it, and now I know that this is the voice of spirit. I know when I'm with someone, their loved one is speaking to me, and sometimes, I'll offer um some messages
yes.
from their loved ones, from the spirit world. So yes, and so it's spirit. I love the way spirit works. The spirit always brings everything together.
Yes.
So when I met my godmother, my beloved godmother, Dr.Iya Funlayo, she is so amazing. She taught me tarot. I took a tarot class with her.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And yes, and actually one and two. And I learned the art of tarot, and I became connected with it as a tool, right?
Yes.
So I
Hmm.
still have my natural um spiritual abilities as a medium, being clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant, and I have the tool of tarot. And so I started doing readings. I would do readings for people at the Mystic Fair here in St. Louis, and vending places. And I'm like, I need to focus more on this gift. And so I've been focusing on it. And now, as a package, whenever I am offering package to my family as a death doula, I also offer my mediumship.
Hmm.
So it's come together as a beautiful, beautiful package. And of course, some people, their beliefs, they don't want to have um psychic mediumship work involved in their
Exactly.
package. And so that's okay. You
Hmm.
know, I don't it's an offering. It's not something that has to be a part of the package. So I brought it all together full circle with spiritual herbalism. So I'm able to craft the oils that I offer to my clients. In my service as well, and some baths and some things. So spirit just like, okay, you got this over here, you got that over there, you got this over here. Now bring it together for a beautiful offering.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's what I've been able to be gifted. So when I saw you on your channel, and you were doing the fairy channeling with the messages, I'm like, I
Good
was
job.
so excited. And I love the way you're able to just open up and let spirit come through, to let the fairies come through. And the message is always on, like on time. You listen to you, I'll be over here. Yes, yes,
Yes.
thank you. I needed that today. I needed that. I needed to hear that today. Like,
Mm.
such
I
an
appreciate that.
inspiration. Such
I'm
an
like, that's what I do
inspiration.
it for. I appreciate that. I receive, I receive, I receive, I receive. Receive.
Ashe.
I receive. It's an honor to have this
Ashe.
gift. Like, I used to hold such an admiration when I was younger for psychics. Like I had this crazy attraction for psychics, and then I got into channelers for years, and I was like thirsty for more. I was like, this is so
Mhm.
amazing. Like, how are they doing that? Like, and it was something in me where I could tell, because you know how people have their conspiracy theories and they pop their shit. But I was like, no, like I could feel in my own vessel, the feeling of someone tapping in. I could feel in their vibration when they
Mhm.
were, I was like, oh, and then when I would feel that, then they would start speaking, and I was like, oh shit,
Mhm.
you know. And now being a channeler myself, I know what that is, when you finally
Mhm.
rest your vessel,
Yeah.
and let yourself go into that trance, which is just a clear channel. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just
Mhm.
you have no thoughts about nothing. You're just letting it come through these blocks of information, and
Yeah.
it's so amazing simultaneously all that's going on, like this pure chaos that's going on
Mhm.
at one time. Like for any like psychic medium channeler, like the way that our minds and brains integrate and do this dance is not for the weak. It's not for the faint heart. Like, I don't know. It's such a beautiful gift. Even though
Yeah.
I have it when I see it in others, I have this awe in me that's just like, this is so amazing. Like,
Mhm.
uh, wow. So, okay. So this has been a journey for you. I mean, doing this just so naturally from an adolescent, that is crazy work, So was there any, just off the top of your head, we're gonna look some juicy. Was there any like spooky, weird shit that happened and it was like, oh, like
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. Oh man. I was talking to my daughter the other day, my youngest daughter, and I was telling her. So when I grew up, we lived down the street from a graveyard,
Oh
and
wow.
My grandmother, who I lived with at the time, Ibaye, so room, peace, light, and elevation on her spirit, she worked evenings. So I would be like, come home from school like a latchkey kid and be home in the evenings by myself. I'd be washing dishes at the sink, girl, and know somebody is
Yeah.
standing behind me. So I
Yes.
turn around really quick and
Yes.
I didn't see anything. Or I'd
Yes.
be sitting at the table, just eating, watching TV. You know, we had TV in the kitchen like like the
Yep.
old days, right? And I'd be eating, and literally, I would feel somebody walk in and sit down next to me, and I would just be staring because I know somebody's here. Because you know how you feel when
You
people
feel
come
it.
in a
Yes.
space.
Yes.
I know somebody's here, but nobody is there. Or I hear walking in the living room. I get up, go in there, turn the lights on. I'm looking because I just heard somebody walking, but nobody's in the house but me.
Ah,
And for a long time, I was afraid to
yes.
tell anyone that because I'm
Ah,
like, they're gonna think I'm crazy. So I wouldn't tell anybody that. It's just on my spiritual path, I learned that these spirits are actually here. They were present and they were visiting. They didn't, there was no I haven't had any negative energy experience, right? But
okay.
they were
Yeah.
just observing me as I work, observing me as I wash dishes, sitting at the table, because I learned later that these are persons without a body, right? These are just persons without a body. And I remember I did tell my grandmother once, and you know what she said? Don't be afraid of the dead. They can't hurt you. You be afraid of the living walking around here. They the ones that can hurt you. Like that's exactly what she said. And from that point on, I just know, but I wasn't afraid because with that statement, she took the fear out. She told me, don't be afraid of ghosts. Don't be afraid of the living dead because they can't harm you. And so I've taken that with me. I
Yeah.
took that with me throughout life and it brought me a sense of calm. And it's just like, they're just here. um yeah, but I did have another instance, and this was like uh so this is the first time I'm gonna share this
Mhm.
story. So I was younger, in my late mid late 20s, and I had an experience. I was listening to some um rhetoric, I'm gonna say now, that was not positive. It was negative.
Yeah.
And I was really like in my feelings. And don't get me wrong, some of it was righteous anger because they were talking about, Amarafa and slavery, but in the spirit that it was very
Yeah.
negative toward like all white people. And so I was
Yeah.
in this very negative energy.
Yeah.
And I'm on my way I'm in college at the time. I'm on my way to school driving, and all of a sudden, the car goes in reverse. It went in reverse by itself, like into the ditch, and it was like a force just moved it back. So off this, I'm on this it's like a highway
Mhm.
road, and it just reversed quickly back into a ditch, and it was like, stop it, like stop. And from that moment on, I realized that even though there may be some truths about things that are said, I cannot be in negative
Yeah.
energy. I cannot. And spirit was like, it was literally like somebody took the car
Yes.
and reversed it, and I was in a ditch, and they're
Yeah.
like, cut it out. This is not your path. This is not who you are. Stop it. stop it. And so that was an incident where spirit totally took control. Um, and to this day, like this is my first time actually sharing that experience. But now I know that's my spirit team saying you're going down the wrong path. This is not
Yeah.
what you're here for. This is not you. This is not your energy. Keeping me from getting involved in that type of um rhetoric and path. And like even though there were some truths that were stated,
Yeah, no, it's
wrong
still too
energy.
low vibrational. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Oh.
they took that car and they was like, we ain't doing this. Get it
Ah.
together. From that day forward, like I don't I make sure I stay on high frequency, high vibrational energy, and I don't get into it
No,
like.
and
Mm.
faithfully, thank goodness you listened. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm a listener.
Because I didn't listen. Like when you were speaking, I'm just like, OMG. I seen it when it happened to me, but then spirit, like I'm having an aha moment right now. Like showing me the first time I got into an accident and I don't know what happened. Literally. And mind you, I'm in Vegas driving on the E-way or whatever they call it. Maybe an interstate, expressway, whatever. But I'm on it, and it's a busy time of day. And all I know is I'm going straight and I just feel a car veering over. And I don't know what happened after that. Like it just happened so fast. And I went into a spin. And when the car stopped, I'm facing ongoing traffic. Like, and I just remember the first, I just was like, and then the person, you know how they always have a witness, somebody has seen. And I was like, what happened? And the guy was like, nothing, you just spun out.
Mm.
And I was like, what? And now that I think about it, that person that I was dealing with, that was my girlfriend, not a lover, but my girl that's a friend. Got to clarify for the people.
Yeah.
Um, it was that time for us to exit. It ended up being a terrible experience with her and her family, all the things. And I
Uh-huh.
didn't listen. I didn't even put it together until
Mhm.
now. You know what I mean? Well, actually, let me not say that because I felt like after the trip, I was like, no, let me not say that because after the trip, I did stop messing with her. But then, some years went by and then we started talking again. But I did stop, but then I went back. And then as you're talking, like the same thing. Like I'm on the road and a semi comes over and as I'm seeing like I'm honking like
Mhm.
because there's a ditch right here. I'm all the way in the left lane and something just said brace yourself. So I just stopped everything and just slammed on the brakes because it was nowhere to go. It was nothing to do. I can't do
Yeah.
anything. So I just slammed
Mhm.
on the brakes. And then I was in an SUV and it just rolled. Doo, 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 doo. And then when it stopped rolling, my windshield was in my face. You know how it shatters, but it doesn't break? It
Yeah.
was in my face like this. And I just
Wow.
remember touching my legs like,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
And then I had to like kick myself. Thank goodness I was flexible. I had to kick myself out the car without having the whole windshield come
Wow.
down and like, and my purse, everything, my wallet was all ejected from the truck forward. And that was another monumental moment in my life where I valued my productivity on my self worth.
Mhm.
Like how much I was doing, was how great I felt about myself. And at the time, I shouldn't even, before I left the house, I will not forget. Something was like, just sit down,
Mhm.
sit down, you know? Like I'm making all these circles and U turns, you know what I mean? Just wanting to be in motion, like proving
Yeah.
my self worth because I'm moving, I'm doing
Mhm.
something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what that was
Wow.
about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all
They will
listen.
orchestrate. They will orchestrate. If you're not on the right path, they like get over, like they
No, because
will,
you're not listening.
yes. Uh-huh.
You know, like whatever,
Yeah.
you're not listening to your intuition, you know, because I guarantee it was something before that event took place, that little voice in your head that was saying sham sham sham, and you
Yes.
did not listen. So now here's what you're, you know, what you're inviting in, what you're a vibrational match for, because yourself is going to wake up yourself. Like your higher self is going to wake up this video game self, this human self. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
so this is what's gonna keep popping if you stay right where you at. Okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody
Yeah, and
got
that
time for
brings
that.
me to egg bay. Like in our spiritual tradition, like earlier, I'm just very barely mentioned egg bay. Like for us, that's your soul group that agrees to support you. To they understand your purpose, they know the mission, and they have the ability to orchestrate, to affirm and confirm, like Dr. Latoya says, you on your path. And when you out of line, they gonna do whatever needs to be done to get you back, because this is where we need to be. And they do speak, and a lot of times we don't listen. We second guess, like they say, that first mind be spirit talking, but we be like, no, it's cool. I'm just going. And they're like, okay, they support us because we're not harmed. We both were not harmed in that situation. But it's definitely an eye opener, and you definitely like, oh, let me go sit my ass down.
Yeah.
Let me go sit down, take
And
a
now
time
and then
out.
I didn't have a choice but to sit down, right? Because my vehicle's
Mm-hmm.
totaled, you know, all the
Yeah.
things. And so I had to
Mm-hmm.
sit down and really think for myself. And then I was like, oh, or well, now I know that it was I had to tune in. I had to sit still and really tune in. And that's what was shown to me. Like you are just moving to be moving without no purpose, you know, and your purpose for this is because where's your self-worth at? And I was, you know, and then back then I was kind of egomaniac. So I was like, so what you talking about? Like, I'm worth it. I'm worthy. I'm confident. I'm this. I'm that. You know, and then it took me back to my childhood and the women in my family. I come from of women full of family, a, a family full of women. You know,
Right.
hard workers. You know, all the nine. Like even my mom. You know what I mean? And it was like it took me through a whole
Mm-hmm.
movie played out of, you know, all the things, and then the feeling about myself. How do I feel? Like even when I was taking days off of work, like I'm still thinking about work. And I remember telling myself, I was like, I might as well be at work if I'm gonna be sitting here thinking about work. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole point of being off. Like what? And all that played out. Like all that played out. And I was like, oh, you know how you're in a room by yourself and you looking around like, did anybody see that or hear that? Like it was one of those moments. Like,
Yeah.
well, thank you for sharing it. Like, perfect. That was divine orchestrated. Cause yeah, yeah, divinely
Yeah.
orchestrated. So I know
Mm-hmm.
some other people received from that. Yes. Pay
Ashe.
attention and listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I could have you up here all day. So we got into the spooky weird. So let people know what you're offering
Okay.
and
So,
then
yeah.
where they can reach you at.
Okay. So thank you so much for the opportunity. So my business practice name is Adesina Bliss. And I can be reached on my IG if you would like to DM me at ADESINAA7. On my Instagram, I am Adesina Bliss on my Facebook as well. And let me see if I have one of my cards. I can post a picture really quick. Let
I
me
will put it
just
in the
see.
detailed description of
And
this
then, okay,
video.
okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Okay, yeah. So my offerings at this time, I am doing my mediumship readings and my tarot readings. I offer a weekly tarot reading on my page. So if you want to just follow me on there, you can see the weekly readings. You can also book a um a reading with me in person or online via Zoom or FaceTime. I am offering my death doula services, so I have a package at this time of I can help you craft the vigil for your loved one at the bedside. I also offer help planning legacy projects, which I like to say life celebration parties. You know, we celebrate the life of the clients. I also am offering my oils that'll be ready really soon. They'll be ready in June. So those are the services that I offer, and also as a death doula, somebody to just listen. Sometimes, you know, you just need a safe space to have somebody to listen. So if
Yeah.
you just want to have someone to listen to you, to help you craft some meaningful rituals around any transition, not just the transition of the spirit from body form to spirit form as we know it as death, but also other transitions, divorce, um, any type of life transition where you just want some support and you just want someone to listen and to have that safe space to be able to express.
Mm.
I am here. I am ready to offer my time, energy, and attention. You know, my godmother teaches us that those are the most important currencies in life:
Mm.
your time, your energy, and your attention. So my time, energy, and attention is available, and I am here, and I am just sending so much love to each and every one, you know, who will listen to this at any later time. And to you, our official fairy godmother, for having me on this space and for our connection. I'm so excited for this connection that we have and having another fairy that I can connect to, that understand, that gets it, you know,
It
when
gets
I'm
it.
talking, not like, what is it? Like,
Ugh.
you feel me. Like I'm so grateful for that. It's definitely an answered request, affirmation, prayer,
Mm.
manifestation. So I'm very grateful for that. And of course, you know, if anybody would like to know more about the Ifa Orisha way,
Mm.
I lovingly invite you to follow my beloved godmother, Dr. Iya Funlayo, at Ashe Ire on IG, on Facebook, and on YouTube if you would like to know more about Eva Orisha practice and be connected in
Yeah.
communities. So, yes, I'm so grateful. So
I
grateful.
forgot to ask you, do you have any questions? I like to ask people to have questions too.
Yes, I know we talked a little bit about your journey in this beautiful life of being a fairy.
Mm.
Um, what have you found like to be the most challenging?
Ah, my job. The community part of it. Because a lot of like medians, it's like, I think that they don't deal with people on a personal level, like outside of doing readings and things like that. I actually deal with people in a community setting, You know what I mean? I opened the door for that. Like we have separate, it's still on social media. Like now I do it on the Telegram, but we still have gatherings there, and it is exploring your inner verse, your inner
Mhm.
world. And people see me, they see my personality, and they think that it's going to be fun and giggles and all the things. And so just
Mhm.
coming to the realization that um this ain't easy, and it's not for the faint-hearted. And
Mhm.
for some, the frustration of getting to know a flaw that you weren't like conscious of,
Mhm.
and then the ego death on so many different levels. You know what I mean? And then the integration of the ego once this rebirthing process takes place, and all the things. And so for those that kind of give up, you know what I mean, in the middle of that, because it's hard to make these real core changes. It's not easy. That I will always be the villain in someone's story. That was the hardest. Um, the intentions are always great. Um, but I will always be the villain. That was a hard pill to swallow. And then some of the naivety that I had about um people, and this gift that I have. There was some naivety at the extremes that people would go to or through when their ego is hurt,
Mhm.
you know, and that I had to go through that to build a tougher skin. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, why is this showing up for me? you know, why is
Mhm.
this person doing this? And for me, it always goes back to self, like. So it was like, oh, like I have to go through this. Like this is not an easy job. You know what
Right.
I mean? And so you
Mhm.
got to build the skin. You got to build the tough skin to be that supporter, to be that accountability buddy, because some of the shit that we have been through and are moving away from culturally is heavy. It's
Yeah.
traumatic. It's super low vibrational. A lot of the things that people are walking around holding in their vessel as wounds and trauma. It's
Yeah.
messy. It's low vibrational. It's a tough job, and somebody's got to do it. And damn it, it's me.
That's us. Yeah, that's us. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of, I agree, a lot of unraveling, a lot of
That's the
undoing,
word, unraveling.
unlearning, like,
The
a
unlearning
complete,
too.
yes, complete transformation. Yeah, and spirit's like mirror, okay, mirror.
The
Yeah. Ooh, I
unlearning.
feel
That
you.
was now that shit was scary. I went through a spiritual process with that. Like a lot of people are fortunate to learn modalities or techniques to use to unlearn and reprogram the mind.
Yeah.
I went through an accelerated course where spirit was just delete, delete. Let me fog that up. Let me fog, you know what I mean? And like, you don't remember like, oh, MG. I thought I was losing my mind. I had no clue what was going on. I was like, this is how they send people to the crazy house. Like, I can't remember. I can't articulate myself. I can't find my big words in my head. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
all of a sudden talking like a I don't know, like one of these new age 18-year-olds, like what is happening? And once I got out of the panic and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is what's happening. Like all of a sudden my gifts went up a notch and then things turned on. Like it was like, I'm stepping into the intuitional side of my brain, and losing the logic. Then as I started channeling, then it was a whole thing. I was like, oh shit. Like I literally had to lose my mind to unlearn
Yeah.
all of that,
Mm-hmm.
so that I would be an open and clear channel, you know?
That's
And
mm-hmm.
our thing is to speak in a space where like even a kid can understand what we're saying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, all those things. This is not like now I think about it, like, yeah, this is an easy job. We love our jobs
Mm-hmm.
because it's our,
Yes,
it's
our
destiny. It's what
path.
it is.
Our
Yeah, it's what
yeah.
we wrote up. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And doesn't it keep, I know for me, it's unfolding every day. Every day it's like, oh, I understand it a little bit better. It's like bit by bit, like my godmother says, like every day it's like, okay.
like
And
you said,
spirit
there's
will
so
bring you
many
back
levels
to
to this
something.
shit.
Yeah, spirit will bring you back to something and you'll have a new understanding.
Completely different.
Elevated. Yes, yes. And
And
it's
you're like,
like,
oh, I thought I got that. And in your mind, like you had
right.
it. You had it. And then a course of events or something will play out and you be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I
Yeah,
had it.
you
This is
thought you
way
understood.
deeper. Like way
Yes.
deeper. Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's a
And it's
constant.
lifelong.
It's
Yeah, we ain't
constant.
never gonna be done. We ain't never gonna be done. Never gonna be
It's
there, as
constant.
they say, growing,
Isn't
expanding.
that beautiful though? Isn't that the beautiful
Yes,
part of it though?
yes. The most beautiful. Mm-hmm.
And the insanity of it all is really trying to get to the top. Like there is a top, you know? Like I
Yeah.
love the insanity of that. Like how greater can this get? Like, oh, let's keep going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then even when it's optimal, like I'm so ready for that. Optimal. And I mean like when you're in, where it feels like you're walking on clouds all day. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like the
Yeah.
people are like, you don't even seem like you're walking. You know what I mean? Like where your
Yeah.
presence is so graceful. It's like you're just levitating. You're just hovering above the ground, you know. In
Mm.
this beautiful bliss, euphoric state, like
Yeah.
100% of the day. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like optimal. That to me, that's like optimal, right? But then it's like it can get greater than that. Like, oh, like greater than you can imagine. What? Like, I
Yeah.
want to know this. I want to know this and this experience and this focus. Like, I need us to get it together. So as a collective, everybody can go. Okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't end, right? Even when we
No.
transition from these physical forms, our work continues. We'll still be doing it.
We'll
We'll
still be
still
doing
be doing
it.
it. We'll be the guides for our descendants. They'll be calling on us. They will, be honoring us, asking us for our assistance in their affairs, and we'll be continuing this work. Like it doesn't
It
end.
doesn't end.
That to me is the most. That to me is like the most euphoric thoughts
Yes.
I could ever have. It doesn't end.
It
It it,
doesn't
it
end.
continues. Life is eternal, and that is realizing that. I mean, no, really internalizing that it's eternal. It doesn't, and
Clarity.
doesn't that take away? For me, it takes away the urgency. I don't
Yeah.
have to do all of these things. I just have to do the one thing
The one
today.
thing. The one thing.
Because as long as I am on the path, I am doing it.
You're doing it.
I am already there, just doing it, just doing the work, just being engaged, connected to spirit, just doing the work. I'm already there, and it's gonna keep elevating, and I'll keep ascending, and it's a circle of life. It
Yeah.
does not end, it continues. So whatever I'm doing today, If today is my last day, as long as I set my intentions to do this work today and I'm doing that one thing, if it's nothing but pouring water for my ancestors, pouring coffee for my ancestors, giving thanks to my divinities when I run the tap water, saying "Ore, eo, iha mio shun," whatever it is, my mojo prefer, whatever it is, as long as I'm doing that one thing,
Hmm.
I'm already in my purpose. I've already fulfilled my purpose because my purpose is to just continue the path. So every day I set my intentions to honor the path that I'm on, to do all that I know I can do today
Hmm.
with the one thing. And then I don't have to worry about if I don't get all these things on my agenda done. It's
It's
okay.
okay. It
I
is
did the one
okay.
thing. I did the one thing. Okay. I did
Ah,
the one thing and I did it with bliss. I did it with joy.
mm,
I did it with love. That's it. That's it. Purpose fulfilled. Ashe.
look,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the one thing I just had to give myself that reminder the other day. I'm like, girl, how do you keep talking about time and how you feel about time, but you keep giving yourself these deadlines? Like, stop. I'm like, right? Right? Okay, okay. And feeling a way about it. Like, okay, I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. I got it. I got it. I'm doing all the things. Everything is perfect.
it is. It's
Doing all
all
the
good.
things.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you so much. So, what do you want to send the people out with today? What message would you like to send them out with?
Mm, yes, I'm just radiating, and I hope each and every one feels from the depths of my soul. May you have bliss, peace, love, laughter, and happiness ever after. Ashe, 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 ashe. Oh,
Ashe
I look,
and abracadabra.
I gotta ring the bell on that.
Oh,
Yes,
that's a beautiful
ashe.
bell.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Mm.
Ooh, is that crystals or glass?
It's actually crystal.
Oh, look, that
Yeah.
just excited us. Like, oh, oh.
You now have to bring in that vibration, that sound, energy. Woo!
Oh, I
You got
love
me.
it.
I'm so turned up over here. I'm just so excited. My energy is just on 10, 10,
I'm glad that we
10.
could do that for each other. Like it's a give,
Yeah.
receive type of ordeal. I love that because I definitely
Yeah.
feel it.
Mhm.
My daughter is yelling at me. It is so hilarious. All right, but we love y'all so
So sweet.
much. Peace, love, and bliss. And remember
Yes.
always through your heart, booze. I will see y'all next time. Thank y'all for joining us. Okay, we will see y'all soon. Peace.